Namaste and good evening to all. I'm Rakesh Kalia and I welcome all distinguished school leaders to the next episode of our webinar for the week titled as Are Post-COVID Schools Up for a Permanent Makeover? Viewers, today's worthy panelists are well-known educationists and I feel immense pleasure in inviting Madam Renupuri, Principal, Vivek High School, Chandigarh, Shri Zoravar Singh, Principal, Cambridge International School, Phagwada, and Shri Indranath Sinha, Principal, Ronak Public School, Sonipat. So,
Hello, everyone.
viewers, we are navigating through unprecedented times due to COVID-19 pandemic. Our schools are working hard to strike a balance between urgent needs and the long-term aspirations in order to deliver on their value propositions to all the stakeholders in the school ecosystem, right? So our school leaders are confronted with a conflicting situation, and that is how to sustain the changes introduced during these turbulent times so that they don't melt away once the pandemic ends, right? Friends, let's see how our worthy panelists react to this blazing issue. So my first question is for Zoravar sir. Sir, how lasting positive changes be pursued during present volatile period by considering COVID-19 an opportunity? Please, sir.
Rakesh ji, first of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this session.
Welcome, sir.
And I'm sure we are going to learn from each other and we will share our ideas and it's going to be very useful and meaningful for all of us. So as during COVID, as you know that the whole world was under lockdown and even the children, parents and teachers, everybody was at home. So this was a very big challenge for schools to organize their teaching learning process from home. And I must say that we in India, where the teachers were not savvy, and when this problem came, they started learning, and most of the schools, they conducted the online classes and e-learning very well, I must say that. And even in my school also, what I have observed, the sports activities teachers who were always looking forward to computer teachers for making video lessons or editing and all, they became technology expert and they started making their own videos and editing also. So this was the very positive side of the COVID, that all our teachers, they became expert in computer. And what I believe that this is a very good sign, because we can face such challenges go away next year in 2021, but you never know where it will come back again. So it's very good thing that we are moving into a right direction. And on the other hand, I would also say, like, parenting has taken a different role. Earlier, when we used to interact with parents and ask them to spend time with their children, and they always used to come with excuses, sir, we don't have time, we are busy with our business, with their own kitty parties and other things, so they don't have time. But what I have noticed during this COVID period, the bonding between parents and children have become very strong. So they have started looking for more such opportunities so that they can spend time with their children. So that was also a very positive sign which I have noticed while interacting with parents these days. And the third point is that children have become concerned. So watching videos over WhatsApp, that animals are coming on the roads, right? Birds are coming very freely in the houses. All these videos watching at home, and even they also watched in their gardens that so many birds are coming, which were not visible at all earlier. So they have become more concerned about the environment. And they have also developed a lot of skills by helping their mothers in the kitchen, making chapatis, helping them making vegetables and all. So a lot of skills they have developed at home during these. So that is what is the positive sign about the COVID.
Great, great. So next, Indranath sir, your take on this, sir.
Same about COVID and education system.
Yeah.
Right. I will go ahead with what Mr. Zorawar just said. Like none of us were prepared. Our education industry or education sector, education sector is something which is always like teaching centric. Majority of the team, it was more like knowledge based, nothing to do with application, not much to do, I'll say, do with application and skills. Now, when this suddenly schools were closed, we were all in a fix. That's the truth. The head of the school, the teachers, parents, students, everybody was in a fix. Now, what to do about it? Then gradually, this online thing, we had to, even I had to go through the Zoom thing properly before using it. What exactly are the pros and cons, everything. But like we say, every dark cloud has a silver lining. And now when we look back, there are a lot of things actually COVID has taught us, and not a lot of good things. Number one, when we say like the quality of teaching, definitely if I am a teacher and my children are inside the classroom, the quality that I will show, the kind of preparedness that I will have, especially when the children are younger ones. And now when they are teaching the children online, and parents are also like active listeners, definitely that has actually improved the quality of teaching a lot. Because when you have grown up adults at home and some of the parents, they themselves are teachers, so automatically they are very well prepared. Then again, what Mr. Jorawar said, the technology, the use of technology, that has actually jumped heaps and bounds. Because initially we all have smart classes, smart boards inside the school, but it was more like pressurizing people to use it. Not everybody was very happy using it, and now the things have turned totally opposite. Now this is the only medium to teach, and when you are using Zoom or any other app, or Reliance Geo app or something, automatically you are scribbling with your mobile set, and you come to learn, you come to use YouTube, you come across a number of videos and all which you want to share. First, when you look at it, you like it, you want your children to see. So definitely this use of technology, that has actually said is absolutely correct. Even in the physical department, we take them the last one who will be interested in all these computers and all. Now they are also very, very proactive with it. We in the evening we also run classes, like all these miscellaneous classes we run in the evening hours. And these teachers, music, art, dance, physical department, they are doing it. And they do it wholeheartedly and they are learning it. Then active role, the role of parents, apart from being listeners, active listeners, sitting with the children, then we have even given them the task to monitor. When we conduct exam, parents are the ones who are doing the duty of the invigilators. So there is an active participation of the parents in this teaching learning process. And definitely when they are active role players, their responsibility has multiplied. And they are taking more interest in what's happening, what needs to be done, what not, what can be exempted, and all these things. So that's a great takeaway, the active role of the parents in the teaching learning process. And the fourth thing, which I was totally against use of mobiles in school or by the students. I was one person, advise the parent, don't give your child a mobile phone. Or if your child is going for tuitions late in the evening or so, give them a simple one. Nokia 1100 was the best model I could always suggest to them. And now when I look back, it's actually the mobile phones, they have saved us, to take us through this entire period. So that's another something I say it's a positive side, because we always used to think mobile plays a very big role of a distractor. And it does distract unless until we teach the children the proper use of it. But now children have also learned the proper use of it and how beneficial it is. That's a more of a lesson for people like us or people like me. The system is very, very open books examination system now that we are following, because you cannot monitor the child for the entire duration of examination. So that those inner quality of honesty, integrity, that has actually developed among children. And what we have learned is certain safety measures, which in our culture, which was very, very predominant, like, washing our hands. If we go back to our grandparents' days, so whenever we would enter house from anywhere, it was a rule by default. You have to wash your hands and feet. That was by default. Go change your clothes. These Now those things have come back, and those health and hygiene will become an essential part when we run the school also. So that's also something we have. What is we used to? We always health and hygiene was a part of it, but cleaning our hands and clean always. That's very, very plays a very, very significant role here. Then there are a few things more, like which perhaps is a lesson for all of us. We have learned the reality to survive. All those extravagance that we had, those things we have realized, like life doesn't need too many things. We need basic, very basic. To be happy, you don't need too many elaborate things. That's what we have learned. Even the principles we have all learned. Any human being in today's world. Because when we talk with respect to schools all over the world, I mean, I was just going through certain statistics. Almost 210 countries have closed down their schools, colleges, and universities, and more than 90% children have actually been affected by this. So the lifestyle of each one has actually been affected, and those, you know, going to movies, watch movies, all those multiplexes, then all these food joints, junk food, everything. If you talk to anybody nowadays, people have lost interest towards those things. So that is actually a basic quality that we have all developed within ourselves. Actually, all of us are prepared. Mr. Jawar also just said, like next day it may come back, so that we have built up that resilience. Anytime anything can happen, which something we have never ever imagined in our life. Like this kind of lockdown for 9 months, we are sitting at home. We have never thought of this. So now mentally we are all prepared for this. So these are the big takeaways, what I think like we have learned in our lives, and the positive side that COVID has taught us.
Great, sir. Great. So, Renu ma'am, your take on, ma'am.
My worthy colleagues have already highlighted on a lot of pertinent points which are common to all of us. But in my mind, the first thought I got personally, was that we were on a roller coaster pre-COVID. Life in general across the globe was on a roller coaster. And we were just moving a lot outside our domain, whether it was moving out of the home, whether it was moving out of the country, out of the city. We were all going outside, and we failed to reflect on our own self. And so I think what COVID has done is, it is like, if you go back to the Indian mythology, एक समुद्र मंथन हुआ था, पहले विष निकला और उसके बाद से अमृत निकला. I think ये पृथ्वी का एक मंथन हुआ है. A lot of people have suffered. There's a lot of the economies are going down, but the good is also coming out. I think humanity will value a lot of things which we were neglecting earlier post-COVID. I think a lot of values, which is binding families, which is looking within ourselves, being at home. There were homes, but they were not homes, they were houses. Now they've become homes with people actually living there. So this was, I think, my take on how it has affected the whole world. As children, as a teacher, as an educator, as a school, yes, it did impact us. We remodeled ourselves, we adapted ourselves, and we actually grew from it. We took our teachers through a training of on Microsoft Teams. We bought licenses for every teacher, for every student, and we gave ourselves about 2-3 weeks to equip ourselves with going on to online teaching, and we declared that as summer vacation much before summer. Content online. Now, the big take was that families were home. So teachers were now teaching families, not just students. The interactions were much more. I do know that, and I would go into any class at the click of a button, I was in any class. There were dadis sitting in Punjabi classes and listening to the stories which were being taught. And, so it was very, very interesting. And a lot of interaction was happening with the families. Cousins were there. Okay, what is your teacher teaching? Let me see. We could actually see all that. And that kind of a bonding was also, it has a lot of positives to it. Human values were there. In school, we had to upgrade our infrastructure because first we had to equip the teachers with licenses. And now we have to get ready that when we come back to school and the hybrid model comes in, we have to have that bandwidth of teaching online and in school physically. So a lot of upgradation happened, something which we couldn't have done while students were there. There was a lot of energy which was being used. I don't know, I'm sounding very philosophical, but we have a beautiful auditorium. There was not a day when that stage was khali. और हर एक चीज को अपनी एनर्जी कंसोलिडेट करने के लिए कुछ टाइम चाहिए होता है. And I think that energy is being consolidated physically in the children and in the school, even in the inanimate things, so that when we come back into school, when the children are there, we'll be there rejuvenated and with a lot more to explore and educate. We've incorporated technology into our teaching classes, and we actually have the global village at our fingertips. So we've been doing virtual tours of various places. Nothing can replace that social interaction face to face, but we have to get more intuitive online, and our teachers are getting there. So very often, like a teacher told me yesterday, that ma'am, from the way the child is asking questions, I can now figure out what he or she. I think that's amazing. And the biggest plus what has happened here is we have a lot of children with special needs, and we have a lot of children with hyperactivity in class. Now, those were children which were quite a handful and were not able to perform to their best ability. During the COVID, and we started online because each one is moving at their own pace. So the slow learners or the special needs children have shown amazing progress. The teacher can just go on back to them at a separate time. The counselor goes back. That has been a great takeaway. For the ones with hyperactivity, they're no longer the jokers of the class because they're sitting in their own room and they've got their headphone on and they're sitting in front of a screen. So उनकी भी takeaway बहुत बढ़िया हुई है. So that I think has been the biggest blessing out of this. A lot more children are taking now responsibility of their own learning, and they're, like my colleagues have said, a lot of value building has taken place. They're reflecting on why and how they did certain things which were incorrect. It has given them time to do that. Like ethics has become big because all assessments are on your own. And we actually make them sign a bond at the beginning of the exam. There's an integrity declaration which they give us. The children sign it. And in that, they write that I'm going to be ethical and I'm not going to use unfair means. And this is what I think, because they've taken it themselves, they've signed it themselves, it's been absolutely amazing. Now, in the days to come, we hybrid model. The role of the teacher has now become more of a facilitator. The content is there for at the click of your finger. How to use the content is what the teacher is now going to help the kids. And that's where the future is. I think that the resources which are there, the teacher has to now realize she doesn't have to teach the 3 hours, but she has to tell them how to access that information, use it to their best, and understand the concept, and be that emotional anchor for them, whether it's online or offline. Because um, on a YouTube or a Wikipedia, you can get the information, but the human touch, which is so important at every stage in school, that only a teacher can give. So along with all the other points, which I completely agree with what my worthy panelists have said, and I just wanted to add this part of it. Maybe it was more on a philosophical thing, but I know that we are going to go back very positive and with allergy, and whatever has happened is behind us. We have to move on the new path which is being laid out. Thank you, Mr. Kalia.
Thank you, ma'am. So wonderful insights by all the panelists, and the positives out of this COVID-19 pandemic, whether it is everyone getting close to nature, as Joravar sir said, and then Indranath sir said the quality of teaching has accelerated. So rather COVID-19 has accelerated everything around us. So quality of teaching has accelerated. Then active learning, and supervised by the parents, not only by parents but teachers also. But then at the same time, it is also we need the teachers acting as a facilitator, as you said, ma'am. We don't need the sage on the stage, rather a guide by the side. So that is a role reversal for a teacher,
Yes.
or a futuristic teacher, which is stated in the classrooms. So on that note, now, dear friends, so with or without changes to policies, formulated by the governments, school leaders can take strategic actions to integrate desired new resources and processes, and nourish the development of new value propositions for all the stakeholders in the school ecosystem. So now my next question is to Joravar sir. Sir, do you think pairing new resources with new processes is the only way out for drawing maximum benefits out of it in the post-COVID times?
Yes, I fully agree with it, because what I've seen, I was reading in an article, the e-learning, growth of e-learning all over the world is almost 8 to 9% every year. And with this kind of experience, the teachers have had, the schools have had, and the future also, we have to carry forward with the innovations and using technology in the school, so that we are at any point of time we are able to face the challenges, such challenges if in future also we have to face. So as we have seen, the private players have also come in, like Byju's and other companies are also there who are giving and all. So at school level as well, we have to be very, very good at technology, and we should continue even after reopening of the schools. When students start coming, we should continue with such online events, and we should organize online classes. We have to be more stronger in this field, so that not everyone has to be dependent on the private players, but schools have also got a major role. So technology, and we should continue with the virtual classrooms and virtual teaching. A lot of content, what we have observed in last couple of months, teachers have made their videos, they are teaching online, they are recorded. All this content is available even on social media, YouTube and other things. So a lot of content has been developed throughout the country. So what I feel that it is very, very important for us to continue in the same manner even after reopening of the schools, and we should make our teachers stronger in this field.
Okay, that's great, sir. So basically, what we need is some new processes built around the resources that we pull in for catering to the needs of students
That's right.
and delivering on the value propositions that they are the promises basically what we which we make to the parents.
Parents,
So
yeah.
every school ecosystem must create new processes, and those processes must continue. This is what
That's right.
I hope you were telling. So we must give schools enough flexibility as well, to let go of the old processes and that basically which hold them back, hold back the new ones, right? So next is well, one of the innovation like blended learning, as you know, which has long shown potential to enable schools to help every student succeed, is especially relevant as school wrestle with complete or partial closures, right? Now, going forward, educators and entrepreneurs will likely develop and adopt other new innovations that not only address critical issues during the pandemic, but show potential to make education more equitable, relevant, and empowering. So, Indranath sir, do you think all innovations in schools implemented during the COVID-19 pandemic times shall continue in the post-COVID times as well? Please throw some light on this.
Well, I mean, to be honest, not all can be taken
Yeah.
forward, definitely. But the most important, uh, certain points which I would suggest, one of the most important ones is the hybrid learning or the blended learning, what we said, and flipped classrooms. This is thing, like I said, this COVID has been an eye opener for everyone. And this, these online classes were actually used as a supplementary measures in some of the universities abroad. And now it's just the other way around. It's become a primary measure to teach. And hybrid learning will be something very, very important. Initially, like you said, partially closed or totally closed. In this scenario, what we are doing, I mean, online classes, offline classrooms, some are being taught online as per their convenience. And the biggest advantage of this learning of online is it can be anytime and anywhere. That's the biggest advantage, what I see. Whereas these classroom system that we had, it was quite a rigorous thing. And because along with this hybrid learning or online, I'm using both the terms, this open books examination, what I was quoting in the previous talk that I gave, this has actually made certain things very, very simple, though based on knowledge. And that actually, the knowledge part, and more than knowledge, it's application of the knowledge, so that children cannot get the answers directly from the book, even though the book is open in front of them.
Correct.
So our system, which was only knowledge based, now it's gradually shifting to application of knowledge. And gradually some of the skills will be developed because you are using too many electronic devices. So lot many skills will come up in this field. So this classes, this will be the next step. When you look at resources, private, public sector, they are investing a lot many companies during the lockdown. In fact, Reliance Jio actually, they developed a software, JioMeet, during the lockdown only.
Yeah.
So lot many companies, lot many private players will come into play. And of course, schools will have the flexibility because they won't have a choice. Remember, I mean, for me, it's very, very simple. We won't have a choice. You have to go ahead with both. Schools, definitely, infrastructure wise, schools will continue. But online teaching will play a very, very significant role because that will be the deciding factor when I see the future from now. We could never imagine schools without classrooms. And now we have seen that it can happen. So this will be the next step. Now, a teacher, what Ms. Ritu said actually, teachers will be the facilitator. They'll be helping with everything. They will be by the side, what you said, beside the student. Yeah. But their role, nobody can replace a teacher. No amount of technology can replace a teacher. So they will be the guiding force beside the student, and hybrid learning will continue. So this will be the best thing that we'll take away, apart from what I said, the open book system and involving parents. That's another thing which I quoted, and I'm very, very happy about it. The active role that's being played by the parents, because that, when you look at a train running, I mean, two tracks are equally responsible. The school plays the role of one of the tracks, and the parents the other one. So the child will be like, totally monitored, and because both parents and school well in life, in academics and studies, everything. So now both are working together. So automatically the results will be even better.
Very correct, sir.
Thank
Very
you.
correct. I fully agree, sir. Basically, this school's relevance has further accelerated during COVID times. In fact, although the schools were closed, but the responsibility of teachers and schools has further gone up. And parents have realized that the schools, how important schools are, in fact. And again, there are two sides of the track, a railway track. Both supervision by the parents as well as school will accelerate learning of students, and they'll definitely come up with some good learning outcomes. I was reading somewhere that blended learning, in fact, it has the potential to increase learning outcomes by 11 to 15% as compared to a fully virtual or a fully physical mode of learning. So blended is a way to go. This is what my take is on. Next is, see, friends, students during the pandemic time have adapted very fast, to the changed online teaching learning system. They have certainly adopted a new habit of studying from home. Rather, work from home has become a new normal these days, thanks to COVID-19. It is high time we assess to what works and what does not, as far as teaching and learning is concerned. So, Renu ma'am, is going back to pre-COVID normal shall anyways be counterproductive for all students? And please tell how. Ma'am, your mic is off. Mic is off.
Sorry. Yeah.
Please.
Sorry.
Please.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, actually, reflective question. And the pre-COVID normal is not the normal today, because we cannot travel back in time, always move forward. So what happened 10 years ago, we weren't doing it pre-COVID. Now, due to COVID, that has been accelerated. So definitely our normal is going to be very different from what it was pre-March 2020. And it is basically a mindset which we have to change in the teachers, in the parents, in the students. And that change of mindset will help them adapt better, because whatever was, the water has flown under the bridge, you cannot keep it there. The tide, and we have to evolve to the new need of the hour. It means that your classrooms might be staggered. You might have different timings for different people. You might not come as a big school gathering. An assembly would be a very different thing. It might just be online. You would be interacting with your teachers on a very different mode than what you did pre-March. So it is something which we'll have to all adapt, and it's not difficult. Once a mindset, once you're ready for change, that's the open-mindedness which we have to develop in the children, in the teachers. We can set the pace for the new normal. And we have to evolve. Every day we have to evolve. And at present, all programs in schools need a relook. All activities in school need to be revamped. And probably that's going to be the normal. That how are you conducting the various co-curriculars? How are you conducting the various events? How are you doing the practicals? We call it practicals, but it's these days it's a video which the teacher has clicked, which we are showing till the children come back. So how can they experiment with what is available around them and come to their own conclusions? That's going to be the new normal. So I don't think the pre-COVID normal is going to be acceptable 100%. We'll have 50 and just carry on with what is the need of the hour. And the earlier we can change our mindset, be open-minded to that change, the happier and more comfortable we will be as schools, and so also our children.
Great, ma'am.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
we can certainly set pace for the new normal.
Yes.
So that's a very nice thought, ma'am. So that's great. Thanks, Zorawar sir, Renu ma'am, and Indranath sir for all your great insights. Viewers, when school
you,
system
Mr.
leaders and policy
Well,
makers internalize those causal principles, they'll be in a better position, to catalyze lasting change that comes from deep inside schools, not just from the immediacy of new circumstances. On top of that, if leaders show
Yeah.
how new changes will better deliver on stakeholders' expected value propositions, those changes are more likely to last. So, viewers, today's webinar has provided us enough food for thought that could bring about most valuable and transformative changes in the post-COVID school. On that note, I again thank all the respected panelists on sparing their precious time. Thank you very much again, and good evening to all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Mr.
and good
Kalia.
evening to
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Good
you. Nice
evening,
meeting you.
friends. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.